From the Lion King, like it's the circle of life.
Oh, are we filming this?
I
thought.
Yeah.
Right.
Wait, Jordan?
Yeah, because
Instead
he
of
wants to meet us in
summertime,
our
What's his
classes.
clothes?
Vietnam sadness.
Stuff, so he probably is back.
So you're start right at the beginning. You'll start right at the beginning.
We need to change, and then part of the play we
Wait,
need
we
to
need to change?
The
Yeah.
drum right outfits.
We have costumes?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jordan.
And then we just need to pick people to be in the play, and then we'll start.
They are filming this, and they're going to download it to my computer so I can share it with others.
Hey, did you hear that?
Yes.
If you make sure these gentlemen have your email address, they will email you their notes, so you do not have to write notes today. You can just enjoy. Awesome.
This is a musical rendition of The Sorrow of War, and for Act 1 I'm going to need 4 volunteers from one of you guys to play.
I'm not sure they heard you, because every hand in the room would be up.
And Macy, you guys want to come in?
I'm the first one.
So I'll just take attendance during lunch. It's no big deal, but
So this is Act 1, Scene 1 of our musical.
Okay. An older male, a soldier. Read your part.
Put out the fire. It's an order.
Is singing band too?
No, don't stop singing. That's got to go on at all costs. Sing all the same sister. Sing a farewell song to us. I'll tell you a secret. You'll know tomorrow anyways. America has entered the war.
Everyone look to their song sheets. In front of me. This is a sing-along, guys. Karaoke.
Alright.
I never got a song.
Sadness. Sing along. I just wanted you to know that I have no traumatic stress. Rebel, singing in the dark, in the warm red light. Tuck my hair up real can't fire off. I'm feeling alone. Oh my God, I feel it in the air. Lost rights above, our system like a flare. I'm fire, I feel it everywhere. Nothing scares me after the war. Just me coming for the war. Vietnam sadness. I just wanted you to know that I have much traumatic stress. Exercise devils. Exercise devils. Fight it. Not really.
Music can never be taken away from you. Remember that. The war may take away your home, your possessions, your paintings and art, but the war will never take away your free and creative spirit.
Music has been a motivational drive in these times of sorrow. Following your singing brought me back to times of warmth and tranquility.
Thank you, Keith. I remember a time before the war when our artistic freedom was not oppressed by the ideals of communism.
Okay, today many rambunctious teens listen to their pop music, like Summertime Sadness, to escape from the irksome obligations that thrust them upon IB and their parents. Just kidding. But anyways, this is the same type of escape that the soldiers, as you just witnessed in this scene, escape from, and their memories of the war, their pain and agony. The sailors implore that Fong should never stop singing because singing is their escape. And the soldier wishes to hear the music of that girl so that he can also forget about the many deaths that he had witnessed himself.
Music is very important in the Vietnamese culture because everything can be expressed through music. There's many categories in Vietnamese music, but they can be split into three. Music can be written about family, love, or like the country. And the music in Vietnam is influenced by 1,000 years under imperial rule of China and Japan. And before the war, music was allowed to flow freely in the north and the south, but during the war, the government banned most of music because they were against the moral, the freedoms of Vietnam. So many love songs and songs against the government was banned until some were banned until recently, about year 2000. But now, present day, music it can be performed freely now because of the influence by other government of letting free speech, like easing up the control on free speech. And like modern day pop music also influenced Vietnam, like K-pop and stuff.
I like the reference to the 3 don'ts. We saw that in the novel very explicitly. Very nice.
Close curtains, Act 1, Scene 1. We need 5 volunteers for Act 2, Scene 2.
Every hand in the room should be going up immediately.
Act 1, Scene 2.
Do you really expect me to publish this piece of propaganda?
Yes, I do!
You would dare to mock my countrymen. You are nothing more than a stray soldier who is lost without a war to fight in.
I may be I may be one of only a handful who survived in my battalion, and that should be something to commemorate, not to mock. I fought valiantly for my country and my people. This novel pays tribute to those who have fallen in the war. This novel preserves the history and culture and memorizes. I'm so tired. I'm sorry, I was up all night writing that book and not the script. Anyway, this novel preserves the history and culture, and I want to project this culture in this book.
But alas, it does not matter. If I allow you to publish this propaganda, it'll make both of us enemies of the state. I cannot allow you to publish this. I am sorry. Is this what you really want?
All I want is the truth. I want the people to know the truth about the war. Tin? It's my novel, I can do what I want. It's my novel, I can say what I want. It's my novel, I can write what I want. I can publish what I want. You can't censor what I want. Trying to talk this guy into publishing. Everybody, he doesn't know about the strong bean. I just wrote to exercise my devils. I'm taking living to the next level. Every memory can flow. Can I get a hell no? We gotta go to the U.S. Till this boat gets to see the sunlight. Alright, I need a baby. We like to read. Nothing really. We do whatever we want. This is our book. This is our art. And we can't stop. And we won't stop. Can you see the room with the strife? Can you see it's we who's about this life? And we can't stop, and we won't stop. When things don't right, we do things that just run nobody. Yeah, it's my novel, I can do what I want. It's my novel, I can say what I want. It's my novel, I can write what I want. I can publish what I want. You can't censor what you want. End Act 1, Scene 1. One Scene 2.
As you know, Ninh was not initially permitted to publish the novel in Vietnam, and after the war was won, Vietnam poured out hundreds and thousands of movies, books, newsreels, everything, glorifying the war, and they also focused on the social difficulties of the post-war reconstruction, but all in the end it was glorifying Vietnam. And if there was a creative work that was not on these topics, then they wouldn't be published. In 1986, though, Vietnam switched to a free market economy, so now their movies and all their stuff had to compete with other movies from other countries, and they couldn't compete because they were all just like blatantly propaganda. So that practically destroyed their movie industry, and so censorship has slacked a little bit in those areas. However, in present day, it's been worsening in other areas. The first TV stations in Vietnam were actually created by the U.S. and soon after the war, Cuba helped Vietnam to set up their own TV network, and this is called very creatively the Vietnam Television Company, and they have quite a few channels, but it's all propaganda. And in Vietnam, like in some cities and some hotels, can get special clearance from the government to get satellite dishes so they can get more than just Vietnamese TV. And so that's censorship in TV. And however, in the internet, it's always big news whenever Vietnam censors something new on the internet. The latest one was in September 2013. The Vietnam government passed Decree 72, which it uses very vague language so they can pretty much limit anything anyone's doing on the internet. It says it prevents users from abusing use of the internet and visiting content that undermines the nation. So pretty much censoring everything on the internet. And in the past, Vietnam has gone as far to arrest bloggers. Now back to Nin's writing. It wasn't allowed to be published in Vietnam, but it became a worldwide phenomenon in other areas, as you'll see now in America.
Love the modern connections, Vincent. Really terrific with that research.
Wow, this book has really changed my perspective on the Vietnam War. I was so clueless before. I feel so ignorant.
I had no idea that the war had such a devastating impact on the Vietnamese culture and landscape. Maybe we should stop the use of napalm and Agent Orange. They are a destructive force and have ruined the agrarian economy of Vietnam.
This book is very powerful. I feel compelled to share it with the rest of the world.
I've heard that Nhi was not permitted to publish this book in Vietnam because it was unjustly labeled as propaganda. Ninh should not have to deal with this oppression. He served his country valiantly, and I will not rest until this novel is published in Vietnam.
This is another sing along with the next song.
Nin's not gonna take it. Nin, he's not gonna take it. Nin's not gonna take it anymore. We got the right to choose it. There's no way we'll lose it. This is our life, this is our book. But the powers that be just don't pick our destiny, 'cause you don't know us, you never fought. It's not gonna take it. He's not gonna take it. It's not gonna take it anymore.
End of scene. Act 3, Scene 1. 3 Vietnamese citizens are walking through a local market that sells paintings. They come across the local theater and wonder what plays are on the venue. The court has just ended.
It feels so good to walk the streets with
without the constant fear of a napalm strike.
I couldn't agree more. Hey, have you taken a look at the paintings? They're quite elaborate, and they seem to portray the rich culture of Vietnam in a way that I have never seen before.
Look at this domino wood block painting. These vibrant reds, yellows, and whites really stand out to me. I wonder what this painting represents.
Who cares about that wood block painting? Come take a look at the silk painting. It makes me feel so emotional, and I can't help but wonder why.
All of these paintings are making me feel strangely sentimental. Maybe we should go see a play at the local playhouse. I hear the opera in this town is something that we cannot miss.
The citizens approach the playhouse.
Are we in the playhouse?
Yes.
Wait, can we give them chairs? No.
What? This cannot be. The menu says that all of the plays scheduled for tonight have been canceled.
This is a tragedy. I was really looking forward to seeing the Tuan Kai Long.
It says here that everything has been canceled due to the war. Apparently, many of the intellectuals were either killed in the war or they are still too fearful to return.
Okay, so art was a major portion of Vietnam culture. Due to being controlled by China, Vietnam was influenced heavily before the dominance of France. After France took over Vietnam, that's when French influence started coming over, taking over Vietnam.
Scene ended, by the way.
Silk painting is a traditional art of Vietnam. In ancient times, the paintings used to have deep shade, but now in modern culture, everything's more about the vibrant and contrasting colors like red, yellow, and white. The colors and art really helps depict the emotions that the artists are feeling, or the purpose of the painting. For example, the Dong Ho is a form of woodblock painting. It's often used and it's often made and bought for Tet, which is the lunar level for Chinese New Year's. Tet really focuses on three main colors: red, white, and yellow, which are really stand for good luck or fortune. The Dong Ho is normally connected to the traditional aesthetic values about social philosophies, human desires. Themes for this kind of woodblock painting is good luck, historical figures, mythologies, popular stories, and social commentaries. So, moving on to the silk paintings, it's traditional art, and then okay. So now we're moving on to the theater. The Tuan Cao Long is a form of opera in Vietnam. It rose mainly in the 1930s, being part of the entertainment for the middle class during French dominance. There are two types. The Trung Co, which is ancient opera, and then the Zhao Co, which is modern. The modern opera is more about modern society and how they act, while the ancient opera is based on legends and myth, which could either come from China, when they were controlled by China, or Vietnamese myths and legends. While a lot of culture exists today, due to wars and weather conditions, a big part of Vietnam, the heritage, the Vietnamese art was destroyed.
So we can all hear how useful it's going to be to get those notes emailed to us to write our reflective statements. Okay, so that email list is circulating.
Okay, for Act 4, Scene 1, can we have 3 more volunteers? Mr. Platt, do you want to be in the play?
Sure. Good man, Mr. Platt.
Nolan and Reed?
Be in a play with Mr. Platt?
Keep your clothes on, Nolan.
The soldiers may have been fighting a battle in the front, but the intellectuals were engaged in a battle of their own. In Vietnam, the intellectuals who could have possibly told their story of the war, like Bao Ninh, the writers, the poets, the dancers, the filmmakers, the painters, the artisans, and the musicians were massacred. Nearly 2 million were massacred during the Vietnam War, and among the dead were an estimated 90% of the intellectuals in Cambodia. Many others were either exiled or lived in such impoverished conditions that they eventually died of natural causes. Act 4, Scene 1.
I knew that the war left a trail of devastation in Vietnam, but I thought it was only a physical trail. The slaughter of the intellectuals and the destruction of the paintings and writings has wiped away the culture of the country.
I just finished reading this new novel. What was it? What was it called again? Oh yeah, The Sorrow War. If I'm not mistaken, it was written by this fellow who goes by the name of Bao Nin.
Excuse me, gentlemen. I don't mean to be rude, but did I just overhear one of you mentioning my name?
Wait, you're Bao Nin, one of the mere 2% of soldiers who survived in your battalion. It's an honor to meet someone who fought so valiantly in the war.
I am truly flattered that you admire me, but perhaps you admire me for all the wrong reasons. I was a soldier, and I'm not proud of all the seemingly senseless killings that my battalion was involved in. I want to be remembered, but not for those violent acts. Instead, I wish to be remembered for my novel and my rendition of the war as it was seen from the eyes of Vietnamese soldiers. The Vietnamese Department of Literature did not want me to publish the novel because it was wrongly branded as propaganda.
I understand what you mean. Now I think I feel a song coming on.
For dramatic effect, we'd like everyone to gradually join in, and if you want, you can walk up on stage. All the way
From the day we arrived on the war front and shooting, stepping into the war, there's more to see that cannot be unseen, more to do that can never be done. Far too much to take here. Go ahead, Jimmy. That can never be found. But the flesh grows high, and the blood keeps breaking small of the endless round. The sorrow and it moves us all. Despair and
We will now accept any questions from the audience.
Now I know we're all if we've put our email address down for the group, we'll be receiving notes that help us with our reflective statements. Any questions, anything at all?